Okay, welcome this morning. We're going to start with our Board of Equalization meeting. We have 6 items on the agenda. The first one is to approve the Board of Equalization Assessors approved review process report. Is there any questions on that one?
Nope.
And,
Nope.
and Commissioner Ivy's on the phone with us, just as a note. Okay, a motion to be in order for number 1.
I'll move that we approve regular agenda item number 1.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to approve agenda item number 1. All in favor say aye.
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 That passes 3-0. Number 2 is to approve or deny a petition of the Board of Equalization to hear the appeal. And we have the appeal parcels that are in there. I've read down through the notes on that. Is there any questions on number 2?
Nope.
No.
Okay. I would assume that we're looking at approving this one. Is a motion to be
It's
in order?
just for a hearing, so,
Yeah, for the
I
hearing.
will move that we approve the
Right.
petition as stated in number 2.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the petition for the hearing. All in favor say aye.
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 That passes 3-0. Number 3 is to deny or approve the petition. This one is for the Board of Equalization to hear the appeal on the property values. And I also read down through this one. Any questions or discussion on it?
Well, they're all stated, the next 4 stated as deny. That, to me, tells me legal has reviewed it, Bert, you've reviewed it, and there's no grounds for granting an appeal.
In our opinions, no, we feel like
Okay.
they don't meet but of course, as always, we leave this ultimately up to the board to decide.
Right, but
Right.
in being consistent, that's what we do. I just, because it doesn't say approve or deny, I wanted to explain the
Well-
difference for people who are looking at it. That's the only
Right.
reason, so.
And just to clarify, I mean, the reason I say that, and the reason I say it that way is that, like I said, both Paul and I have reviewed it, we don't feel like it meets the statute, but of course, the statute does allow, if the board feels like the circumstances are extraordinary enough, you can say, go ahead and hear it. This is, of course, just granting that we're accepting
Sure.
the appeal. We're not necessarily taking any action on the merits, but
Sure.
I always like to let the board know that, you have latitude here to decide one way or the other.
I'll move that we deny the petition as stated in number 3.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to deny the petition as stated number 3. All in favor say aye.
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 That passes 3-0. Number 4, kind of the same thing. Is there a
Yeah.
motion or any discussion?
I don't have any. I'll move that we deny the petition as stated in regular agenda item number 4.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to deny number 4 as stated. All in favor say aye.
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 That passes 3-0. Number 5, any discussion?
Nope.
Motion to be in order?
Move that we deny this item in number 5.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to deny number 5 as stated. All in favor say aye.
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 Number 6, that passes 3-0 as well. Any discussion on number 6?
Nope.
No. I'll move that we deny the petition as stated in regular agenda item number 6.
Second.
The motion is second to deny number 6 as stated. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Get a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
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 We're adjourned. Board of Equalization. Okay, moving into our Board of County Commissioners meeting this morning. Thank you for being here and welcome. We'd like to start with a prayer, reading or thought, and the Pledge of Allegiance. And we're looking for any volunteers who would like to participate with us in doing so. Just come up and state your name. Any volunteers for the prayer, reading or thought, or pledge? Got 2 right there. Which ones do you want?
Mike wants pledge.
Will that work, Paul? Thank you.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for this wonderful, beautiful day. We thank you for the chance we have to be here and to discuss the efforts and duties of Utah County. We pray that that would bless us with inspiration. We pray that we can be civil as we discuss the various issues, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, it is my privilege to recognize the employee of the month. If Sergeant Reagan Clark will come up. Don't worry, we'll give you plenty of time to speak afterwards if you desire.
Oh, thank you.
Let me read a little bit about what some of your friends have written about you.
Hopefully it's all good.
It is all good. It's 3 pages. Now, I'm not going to read them all. I'm just going to take a little bit
good.
here and there, if that's okay. Says Sergeant Reagan Clark would not want to have been mentioned of this would not want to have the attention of this recognition and would prefer to fade into the background without acknowledgement. Is that true? True statement?
Yeah.
Or on the right
I was
track,
just
man.
telling my lieutenant I've been set up today, so.
However, he is most deserving of the award. Reagan is knowledgeable, a go-getter, a go-to person, motivated, energetic, and pays highest attention to detail. They had in parentheses on this, and I was wondering if I should read this or not. It says OCD on it. I don't.
It's true.
It's true? Okay. These are just some of the words that you can use to describe Sergeant Reagan Clark. Reagan is a sergeant for the Sheriff's Office and the Correction Bureau. Along with his other duties as a housing sergeant, Reagan has chosen to be the field training sergeant. Reagan is responsible for overseeing the training of all newly hired deputies in the Correction Bureau. In the past year and a half, he and his crew of field training officers have trained nearly 20 plus new deputies, and we have about 10 more that they will need training through the end of the year. Each deputy will have 2 or 3 months training program. Lots of the people go through this training in a short period of time. And it goes on, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it also goes on and talks about, that you're responsible for logging, keys, uniforms, equipment, understanding of policies, and a lot of these things that you're doing over and above the duties that you do in the housing department as well. And then one more, I'm going to read this second one here. This is from Sergeant Andrew Stewart. It says, I've had the privilege of working with Reagan for most of my career. He is one of the most dedicated and loyal employees that the Sheriff's Department has. He ensures that everything is done and ready for the next crew. He has a reputation of being a little OCD. That's twice in there, so. And everybody wants to follow Reagan because you will not find a speck of dust anywhere. So, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything?
No, it was funny because I submitted one for one of my employees,
Oh, did you?
and I was like, oh, maybe he's the one getting the award this morning, and then found out I was the one being set up. But no, I owe it to my team. I mean, without having great deputies around me, I couldn't do my job, and my supervisors have provided me an opportunity to succeed. So without them, I wouldn't be nothing. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I'm gonna do the picture. Thank you. Congratulations.
This is some stuff for you. Hold this and we'll take some pictures over here.
Commissioner Ivy, are you smiling for that picture?
We got you.
Good job.
I
Pretty.
can Photoshop you in
I
there.
may not have my hair.
Oh, wait, hang on. Let me give him these two. Okay. We will now move into looking at our consent agenda. We have 20 items on the consent agenda. As always, if you'd like to speak to any item, you can come up. to the microphone, just state your name as we get to the agenda item. And we'll go from there. So we've got 20 items. It's been requested that we continue number 8 for 1 week. That's all right.
That's good with me.
If we can have some discussion on number 16, just some questions, clarification questions for myself. That's all I have on consent. Any others, commissioners?
Nope.
I didn't have any questions on consent.
And then from regular agenda, if everything can be moved to consent except for those that we pull off. And it looks to me like 1, 2, 3, and 4, if we can pull them off. And then we do not have a document number 6, which is usually recommended that we strike or continue. But, or, no, I'm sorry, number 5.
Five.
Yeah, number 5. If we could strike that, are we fine with doing that? But have an opportunity for some discussion. Are you fine with that, Commissioner?
Well, it is our rules.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with following the rules, but I'm actually not recommending a change, which is why the document's not uploaded. I just wanted to read in what the policy is and then have a discussion, but I will do that under personal privilege.
We do that at that, kind of at that
Yep.
spot. Okay, so we'll strike number 5.
I'm good with that.
Okay. I guess that's it on there. So we continued number 8. So number 16, Mike, if I can ask you a few questions. Sorry, as I'm trying to get there, just hang on 1 second. All right. So it says, in this, it says the following firearms and equipment assigned to the sheriff's armory have been determined to be surplus, excessively worn, or otherwise unsuitable for use. And then, therefore, due to the federally regulated nature of these items, we recommend all firearms be sold and traded to a federally licensed firearm dealer. My question from that is that the first group of firearms is Utah County's Sheriff's Office shotguns, but the next group is evidence shotguns, and the third group is evidence handguns. And so, are these all assigned to the sheriff's armory,
So
even though they're in evidence?
yeah, Mike Brower, Sheriff's Office. So the first section, the armory, the shotguns, and then you described evidence there. So when weapons are seized, found property, used, commission of a crime, they're not recovered by owners. They're basically deemed surplus.
After how long?
I don't know how, after, so if it's committed within a crime that's a felony, obviously we keep those for an extended amount of time. If it's found property out on the West Desert, things like that, and they're not weapons capable of keeping, they don't fit the criteria, they're surplused out to federal licensed dealers that way. Some weapons are destroyed, but if they're deemed usable but not suitable for purposes within the sheriff's office, then that surplus request is made.
Okay.
So a poor conditioned rifle or shotgun that says in poor, we sell that?
Yeah, that don't meet our standards.
Okay.
Plus, if they're not the same caliber that we use.
I just
it's
wonder, I guess,
authorized.
why they don't destroy, why we would put weapons. I mean, poor, and again, I understand these conditions have different ratings, but one says poor in 3 pieces.
Some people find value in pieces of firearms to make a new one. If it's a stock, if it's a usable stock, anything
Okay.
like that. So it may necessarily not be, the entire weapon somebody may be looking for. Could be just the stock or a part, the action of a weapon, anything like that.
So one in here is new, and I don't know that, I mean, there's a new one in the it's a 12 gauge shotgun. And when there's different brands. I don't know the different brands between a 500A 12-gauge shotgun and I don't know if we have any 12, I'm sure we have 12-gauge shotguns.
Yeah, we have 12-gauge shotguns. It just depends on the brand and the model. We only certify certain brands of
Okay.
shotguns to utilize, and qualify with as a department standard. So if it's a different brand, that's probably why that one's on there.
Okay, so it just doesn't match
Correct.
the arsenal that you have. All right. Okay. So how do you determine, I mean, fair condition, good condition, new, how do you determine, is it just a rotating that it's gone through so many rounds and that's,
If they
Is that-
start to see wear on the barrel, inconsistencies with shot location, things like that.
and then the monies that I mean, this here, it looks like it's gonna be an exchange for, so you get a credit,
Correct.
and then you're going after the other
Correct.
weapons. Okay. All right, those were the questions I had. When I saw the new in there, that was like, wait a second. We're
Mhm.
exchanging, we're surplusing a new weapon? That threw me off. And good and fair, for me, good and fair is still good, but
Yeah.
you wanna make sure it's consistent all the time, and I understand that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, a motion
None
in
for me.
order then.
Move that we declare unsuitable firearms assigned to the Utah County Sheriff's Office as surplus as stated in number 16.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to declare unsuitable firearms assigned to the sheriff's office, stated number 16. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, now to number 1 on our regular agenda. This was continued from last week. And Cammie, if you would like to come up on this one. There was, and Commissioner Ivy, because you weren't here last week, and part of the reason why we held this one is so that you could be here for this discussion. So if you could kind of go over some of our discussion that we had last week as well, with this agreement, and then we can have some discussion on it.
Okay, Cammie Turner,
Perfect.
Human Resources. Last week we had a discussion about Gallagher and the pricing structure that they would like to negotiate. In the bid, they came in at $100,000 and stated that they would be willing to negotiate price with us. They came down to $90,000. Our current broker includes the cost of HRA, FSA,
Cobra.
administration, and the price for that is just under $8,400. So we had asked Gallagher to provide that in the contract as part of a negotiating back and forth with them, and they said that wouldn't work for them in the contract. So right now, we're deciding between accepting their proposal at $90,000 and having the county pay that $8,400, or going back to Gallagher and asking them again to pay that $8,400, because they were a significant outlier in the bids. We had 3 bids. One came in at $72,000, one came in at $80,000, and the third one was $100,000. And so we were trying to bring Gallagher more in line with the other 2 bids, which we've done historically with our compensation study with Workday. We required them to come down, so this isn't abnormal to what we've done with
There's a
other-
difference. We're omitting one important fact here. All of those that we negotiate, we still stay within the confines of the RFP. What we're talking about in Cobra, Commissioner Ivy, is we, the county, omitted it from our RFP, and they already took 10% off their services. The part that I struggle with is we can call them an outlier financially. Again, I reviewed the scoring sheets. It was not even close. It was a unanimous decision by the committee at which you sit on for selection. So price was a component of the RFP. We omitted it from the RFP. We then knew what the price was, but we agreed, based on what everybody said, what they offer and everything they offer us, that price was well worth it, because the value, it's not a price driven, it's a value, which is the nice thing for RFPs, is it's not the lowest price, it's the best value for the price. And so that's,
Well, and my hope in reaching an agreement with them is this isn't going to be a situation where they nickel and dime us and hold us exactly to, what's in there, that we can work in a partnership and that we can come to something that's beneficial for Gallagher as well as the county.
agreed, but what we all know is they aren't even our broker officially yet. There's a letter and there's an action to be taken. But the amount of money we're talking about spending, they've actually already saved the county. They've already saved the county once we approve the agreement. So, you know, the county made a mistake in an RFP. We won't make that mistake in the future, and everybody will have a chance to bid on it.
So I had some discussions with James and Sterling, and I wanted them to know that it was not in the RFP, so therefore I didn't feel like we could hold them to the, you know, to the numbers in the RFP. They got back with me yesterday and said that they would be willing to split that in half with the county on just a good faith basis. And I told them I'd mention that today, that they'd be willing to split that 8,400 or whatever that number is in half. And so I feel comfortable going forward with them, especially with that. They want to work with us. I feel that they want to work with us on it. Not that they had to, and I expressed to them I didn't intend that they needed to pick that up, but they are willing to do that just on a good faith basis to work with the county.
Sorry, Bill.
No,
Didn't mean
go
to
ahead.
cut you off.
Go ahead.
If they're willing to split that with us, to me that sounds very reasonable, especially where it wasn't there on our part initially. So,
I don't know what that does in the way of the language, because now we've got kind of a split going on.
So here's my problem, is we always try as a commission, I think we've done a good job of trying to be consistent. This isn't the same consistency within the department. We don't ask any of our employees to do this. They remind us all the time, well, this is my job description, this is what I will do, blah, 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 blah. That's the way the county rolls. Again, the county made the mistake on the RFP. We know the benefit they come. If this is the same practice we're gonna do and we have an RFP and we have an agreement, then we, on public record last week, for example, had an offer from a gentleman sitting in the office to go ahead and fix the health department's website for no cost. So if we're gonna go down this road, then we need to go down this road, and I'm okay with that. But the reality is what we're talking about here is the county needs to be held to a higher standard. It is not Gallagher's problem that the county made a mistake, okay? Again, all the agreements that we had with our previous person, we had those agreements, we drafted those agreements, and so shame on the county for not reading those thoroughly enough and saying, oh, well, we didn't know that the $8,400 wasn't in there. Again, they went through an RFP process in good faith and took us at our word that said everything's contained in it because it's reviewed, it's accepted by the commission, it's moved on based on staff recommendations and legal reviews. And so I just think it's a shame on the county to ask businesses that came in and gave us a good faith estimate, go through all that process to even continue to look back. Because the reality is if we're going to take Gallagher at their word, the other thing they've offered to do is allow them to make commissions. But we're stopping them. We're changing the way that the industry does business in some cases. And so what we want is we want our cake and we want to eat it and we're not even going to share it. And that's the part to me
Well,
that's troublesome
There
here.
there was no ask on my part.
I know.
When I talked with Gallagher about it, I said, we made the mistake on that. The county did. We recognize it. It does cause a little bit of hiccups for us to say, dang it,
Yeah.
we made the mistake. And my ask to them was, even getting this contract in place, would you work with us to see if we could lower that? That was my
Sure.
ask. It wasn't an ask of them. They were the ones that came back and said, hey, we would like to, on a good faith basis, cut this in half and work with you on it. So, and I told them, even after they said that to me, I said, you don't have to do that. We can get this passed. I feel like we'll get this passed, and you can work with us on trying to lower something else. And they said, no, we want to do this on a good faith basis. And so I applaud that I feel like they want to work with us as a business organization. They asked if they should come here today, and I said, I don't know if you should. I mean, you can if you want, but so I feel comfortable with where we're
And
at.
again, I'm not saying you did entice
No,
that at all.
I just
Sure.
don't think I think it's a path for us. When we're in negotiations, we're trying to do the best we can for the county.
I do too, but that's why I'm saying they've already proven their value and they've already saved the county actually double that amount. So to me, we should return the good faith and say, our mistake. They've already saved the county potentially money, again, with the passing of number 2. Whether it's the $10,000 or the $15,000 option, they have exceeded that cost to the county in direct county savings. Direct savings. So
We're gonna hold them to that, do
no,
more savings.
that's my whole point is so,
Sure we are.
and so to me, the good faith for us ought to be, and I appreciate them. That tells me, one, that we did make the right decision in that committee because that's the kind of partner we have. But $8,400 in, you know, or I guess $4,200 is, you know,
This is Robert Moore, County Attorney's Office. Let me address the other issue too. There was 2 issues that was changed from last week to this week that you talked to me about. And that was in a section called compensation. Number 2, it's on page 5, I believe. of the
which of
document.
these 18 attachments is it on?
It's the one it's referred to as without Cobra. Yes, you see there's a number of attachments because this does include, as the attachment, a copy of the RFP. It includes the response from the RFP, which is quite large, and that required multiple attachments because of that, the length, how big that was. And number 3, the third thing that was attached, and these are not in particular order, is our standard terms and conditions that the county's adopted for virtually all recent contracts. So, and they were fine with those terms and those attachments. There has been a little bit of back and forth here, and that's the reason why that there's been multiple versions on the agenda. Now, having said that, the change that we discussed last week was just a kind of a minor change, and what that was is that if the county were to request Gallagher to change their method of compensation from, let's say, a full-on flat fee to a flat fee slash, what's the word?
Commission.
That's the word I'm looking for, thank you. Commissions, then that could happen with our approval. But I think what they wanted it to be was, look, the county may never request that, but they may come up with some things and say, look, you want to consider this. And so they would rather be able to at least present them to us. Ultimately, you guys would have to approve those in writing, so nothing gets changed unless you approve them. And I think that made sense, and so I made that change after I talked to you last week. It's in there as well. If you are gonna have Gallagher pay half of the Cobra expenses, then all I would need to do is look back at the language I had before and just say, we'll pay 1/2 of the Cobra expenses instead of paying all the Cobra.
So-
In this
And
agreement.
administrative, yeah.
In
I could
this
do-
agreement.
I can just put it right back in there.
And then what would we do
would be
on-
very
What
easily.
would we do on number 3?
What 3?
On the term.
Term has not changed.
So here's my problem with number 2, okay?
Oh, I'm talking about number 3 on the agenda.
We would just strike number 3.
Would we strike number 3, or, I mean, we still
would
have half?
modify it.
You'd
So it'd be
modify it to pay
modified to the
half.
half.
Yes, you just modify it to pay.
Modify.
half. Yeah, that's all you have to do.
So here's my problem, okay? Now, we've just talked about what kind of partner they are, willing to step up, okay? They're coming in for free now. They have been. They've been working at the county's interest, and they're coming in to help us as we transition through this period and with the launch of Workday.
They're gonna be a great partner.
Sure.
I
So
believe it.
this is the problem. Then we should return the favor that they've asked. And right here, any services provided by Gallagher from October 3rd this year to December 31st shall be at no cost to the county, and we should remove the and. Gallagher shall not receive any commissions accrued during this period. Again, if they can go to work and save money for us directly right now, and they're willing to step up and take in greater cost, so be it. It's not illegal. It still doesn't cost the county, and it maybe gives them more incentive to save the county more money. They've already said that they will be that kind of a partner. So to me, I think we should let them have full board. Let's see what it is, because then we can potentially modify it going forward.
One point of clarification, the only outstanding contract that we have is with Mutual of Omaha. So outside of that, there is no saving to be gained by the county.
Right, but the
this
problem
year.
is with that, we don't know if they potentially could have, maybe their saving the county 15,000 would allow them to recoup $1,000. That would be an extremely high commission. However, if that did, maybe the county should withdraw that. So again, we're baking the cake, we're eating the cake, we're not sharing the cake. That's my problem here.
Well, what that provision, let me discuss that provision real briefly. What that is meant to do is to deal with the current contract that we have with First West, which is now called
I know.
NFP. I think the commission has wanted to, hey, they've done a good thing for us too over the years. They want to let them get paid out to end the year.
do.
And even Gallagher knows it. That's the plan, have them get paid out to end the year. I don't think there's been any request to change that. And I think that, you know, we're valuing the service we currently have, even though there is
Then-
some savings to be
Then
found.
let's amend that to say through this period for previously negotiated contracts and allow them to go work
Oh.
for future stuff.
The point is, Mr. Commissioner, is that with Mutual of Omaha, if that's what we go, the commissions won't start until January anyway. So it would not change anything. Because
I
the
understand.
commissions will not start until January 1st of 2018.
But they don't receive those. Under this agreement, they won't receive
They
them.
will receive those because anything over after January 1st, they receive.
Okay,
Yes, so
Okay.
all that's covering is from now till January that our current provider, which is NFP, will receive any and all commissions related to what's there now.
Okay.
What they negotiated for us, such as the share program, they will receive the commissions up to the end of the year on those things. And then come January 1, it switches. Any commissions that are accrued after January 1 will be compensated to, be part of this contract, which is, we pay them $90,000 and there should not be commissions going forward after that anyway, so. We come back and reduce the amount potentially, yes. So, and that, they understand that, I think NFP understands that, and that's what you've told me to draft that way, and that's what I've done here. One thing I should mention, yes, it was our fault that it was not included in the RFP. Part of the reason we didn't discover that, as I mentioned last week, was NFP has been paying that on our behalf, and because we've never seen a bill really, because they've been paying it. And
well,
this
because
is-
they've been receiving commissions to cover them.
Yep, they have. It's a different structure we're doing this time, right? And this is at your choice to do this different structure. Because of that, because we had never received that
So-
information, so now that's why we did not know.
The only
about
thing
it,
I'm
so-
going to add to this, and again, thank you, Gallagher, for stepping up. The only thing I'm going to add to this is, over 3 years, what I've learned is the frustration from Sheriff Tracy is in dealing with jail contracts and dealing with contracts of people that work. And this is why he is allowed to make the statement, and it's factually correct. The county is darn difficult and a lot of people won't do businesses, therefore our prices go up because we do this to people and people walk away from doing business. That's part of our problem, is we do this to people and say, well, it's not our mistake, but please fix it. Or it is our mistake, but you
And
cover it.
Again, we're just here drafting the contract like you want us
Yep.
to.
And we've all just been doing this for a lot of years.
And whatever you'd like us to do
Status
on this,
quo,
whatever
so.
modifications or no modifications you would like. The current version that's on your agenda, they're actually, all the versions are on your agenda system. But the one version that says without Cobra is the version I created after last Tuesday, which took out the Cobra provision for administrative costs being assessed to Gallagher, and it made that other change, the minor change in compensation.
So all we'd have to do is, in the contract, the one we're looking at right now underneath number 1, is change it slightly. Can we do that?
Easily, I
by-
can do it today.
Can we do
Yes.
that without having
Yes.
to come back next
Yes,
week?
because we had a previous version on the agenda, actually. We just didn't have the half, so.
Yeah. With that change, with the stipulation of the change. and then
So we can pass this with the stipulation for the half to be
And we can do
included.
the same thing for number 3 on the agenda
Correct.
with that stipulation.
Yep, you could do that, whatever
Okay.
you'd like.
Okay. More discussion?
No, so which one are we gonna proceed with? The one without Cobra or the second Gallagher agreement?
If you approve the one without Cobra, I will just, if you do it and you add in a half of the Cobra, I'll just put that one sentence back in, but just again,
That's,
reflects the
that,
half.
I just wanna know which we're gonna make the motion off of,
It's-
you know what I mean?
yeah, so it's the Gallagher agreement striking
No,
without,
yeah, but
without
the
the
without
one adding
Cobra,
in.
without, we'll relabel it without full Cobra.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So-
it is the one that's on without Cobra.
Yes.
Except you're putting it back in half
Half
of the Cobra.
And I'll put that in,
Okay.
if that's what you decide today.
okay? Any other discussion or a motion to be in order?
No,
Come on,
I-
it's a good thing, let's go.
this is not a good, to me, this is,
Gallagher's fine with it. I mean, that's the thing, in talking with them yesterday, they were excited, so. move forward.
Yeah, the county just needs to start being accountable for their mistakes, as I'm gonna point out during my personal preference. I will move that we approve and authorize commission chair to sign the agreement listed with such amendments as I've gotten off that, what the title is. The one without agreements, with the stipulation that Gallagher has agreed, and we will add into the contract half of the payment for Cobra insurance. The administrative
Sec-
fee for Cobra.
Second.
Okay.
Not to, I'm gonna amend that real quick. The half or not to exceed $4,200.
There you go. Second.
Okay. I've got a motion and a second
There's
to
my
approve the
slide
agreement
there.
with Gallagher with the stipulations as discussed. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes 3-0. Okay, number 2 should be easy. Any discussion on number 2?
No.
Let me open it just to make sure, because,
This is
Oh,
a
yeah,
letter-
no.
Letter authorizing
yes,
Gallagher.
a move that we approve number 2.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to approve number 2 as stated with the letter of authorization. All in favor, say aye.
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 That passes 3-0. And now number 3, if I can assume that we're gonna approve this, that we just need to put a stipulation in there for the half as well.
Well, except for there's one modification I'd like to make to just like we've always done with all, I'm looking at the agreement that's, the Cobra Administrative and Compliance Solutions. It's a
What's the
10-page.
page?
Yes,
The first
one.
Okay.
Just to be consistent with how we've done it, it's listed as primary contact Kendra Arbon, and we have never allowed agreements to not be without the director. So I would just move, it's fine if Cami dedicates Kendra to do that, but I think on the agreement, the primary contact should always be our department head. That's how we've always done it typically.
It has not been done that way, so.
No,
it
no, no,
used to
in
be
other
Kelly
departments.
Manning. Okay, so she is the benefits analyst. Everyone on this list has to be on this list in order to call and ask a question about benefits in order to process bills. I can switch,
I understand that, but other primary, your department head, you're the head for the reason. So for me, the contract should always reflect hierarchy as well.
so
Will it
then
go
that means
through?
that every call about benefits will go to me. And then I will have to transfer it to Kendra. And
Oh,
everything
Got it.
for benefits
Okay.
now will come to me, and then
Yeah.
I'll have to assign
Okay.
it back out.
But you're on there too.
yeah, she
Right.
is.
Yeah, Tammy's on there.
Okay.
Okay,
I would just-
that makes sense.
Beg you not
No,
to
that-
make me be the primary
Yes, that makes sense.
contact.
Okay, then I have no problems then.
Okay, so a motion to be in order with the stipulation?
Yes, I'll move that we approve regular agenda item 3 as noted.
With the stipulation of the half of the Cobra payment?
Yes, with the stipulation of the half of the Cobra,
With the not to exceed 4,200.
not to exceed 4,200. That was the as noted part, but
Yes, second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second to approve of number 3 with the stipulation. As stated, all in favor say aye.
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 And that passes 3-0. Okay, number 4, if we could on this one, could we continue it 1 week? And then redline the differences for me? I don't know if everyone read down through them, but I didn't want to look at 2 documents and try to figure.
I read them, but that was when she sent them to us like 2.5 weeks ago, so, so I don't remember.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
helpful. Then we could.
I would be fine if we just wait and have that redlined. So my understanding was the primary changes was adding the mobile clock in, but it would be nice to see the distinctive changes.
Well, I also changed some language in there to make it more
Yeah.
clear with the.
And I know we talked about it, but I was just
That's
looking at the 2
fine. I can do
documents
that.
and I thought, let's make it easier
Okay.
for us. Okay, so a motion be in order to continue that for 1 week.
So moved.
I'll move that we can, oh, sorry, Greg, go ahead.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to continue item number 4 for 1 week. All in favor, say aye.
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 That passes 3-0.
Okay, I'd like to take a moment of personal privilege. and I will put this back on so that the commission can give a directive. The part of me that this is involving the Utah County pay plan that says the last time it was updated was March 21st, 2017, which to be updated means it has to come on a commission agenda and be approved. Since then, the commission has subsequently been asked to give permission to allow step increases not contained in our policy, but outside the scope of the policy. And here's the problem which I have, and we will have further discussion, and I guess I'll make a recommendation for change and submit it next week. But rule number 5 under C says, after consultation, let me go back, sorry, rule 5, promotion salary increase. When an employee is promoted, he or she shall be entitled to the placement at the minimum step of the higher salary step range or to the step higher the range, providing 1 step increase, whichever is greater, provided the promotion salary shall not exceed the maximum step range designated for promotion position classification. No problem. Then you go to number 5, right below it. After consultation with the department head, so this is up to department heads. There's not going to be discussion. This is just personal privilege. After consultation with department head and board of county commissioners, and when sufficient budgetary funding is available, the director may approve salaries outside the parameters described above in unusual situations warranted by such factors. A, prevailing wage rates. No problem. B, extraordinary qualifications, experience, or performance of an employee where approving such an increase is expected to provide long-range benefit to the county. Again, like the policy. But it's the next line that the commission has asked for, and so we need just a discussion, make sure we're following this policy in every possible manner, and that is this next line. The director shall provide written justification for any increase approved pursuant to this section. The commission was asked if CAMI can give more than 1 step increases. That was granted, but the problem is what offends me is we were asked, not by CAMI, by legal, and we never made it part of the pay plan. So CAMI doesn't have the protection, and then we have a policy that we're not following, which creates a lot of problems. So it would be my recommendation that I'll put this back on there. We either keep the policy how it is, or we amend the policy to the practices being done by the county. Therefore, CAMI knows the rules and confines in which the commission wishes her to continue to conduct the business of the county. So,
Okay. I think there's some behind the scenes that we'll need to kind of do some working through.
Yep.
And looking at that. I haven't looked at that, so that's,
well, have you been receiving written notice for all the step
yeah,
increases?
that's where we'll have to
I haven't.
look down through it. Okay, thank you. For closed meetings, we need all of them. 6, 7, 8, and 9.
I'll move that we approve and set a date, time, and location for a closed meeting for a strategy session to discuss purchase, exchange, or lease of real property, water rights, water shares for today's date at this location following completion of the regular agenda items.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve and set a date, time, and location as stated number 6 on our regular agenda. All in favor say aye.
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 That passes 3-0.
I'll move that we approve and set a date, time, and location for a closed meeting for a strategy session to discuss the sale of real property, water rights, or water shares previously publicly noticed for sale for today's date at this location following completion of our regular agenda items.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to approve and set a date, time, and location for the closed meetings as stated number 7. All in favor say aye.
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 Passes 3-0.
Move that we approve and set a date, time, and location for a closed meeting to discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual or individuals for today's date at this location following completion of regular agenda items.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve a date, time, and location as stated number 8 on our regular agenda. All in favor say aye.
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 That passes 3-0.
I move that we approve and set a date, time, and location for a closed meeting for a strategy session to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation for today's date at this location following completion of regular agenda items.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to approve and set a date, time, and location for number 9. 9, right? No, that was
Yep.
9. 9. As stated, all in favor say aye.
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 All right. We do not have any work session items. Public comment, general public comment. Any, come on up and state your name.
Hi, my name is Robert Stevens. I live in Provo. here's the codes and the regulations from the county health department website. Most of the links are broken. Again, as I said 2 weeks ago, I'll be happy to come in here and fix the links. All I need to have is a username, password, or you can just log me in, and then I need to know what the links are, where they should go. And it shouldn't take long. So I'd be happy to do that, or you can do a RFP and spend the county money.
And get it wrong.
What?
And get it wrong.
Well, I don't know.
Just kidding.
It's software, it always breaks, so, you know, but these things happen. I'd like to make a request, that, as the commissioner, mentioned last week, that his experience here, no regulations have been removed. And Commissioner Lee said, yeah, but we have clarified a lot. For the public, though, we have regulations and code for the health department. We have hundreds of pages of land use ordinances, and all these have a long history. There's not any kind of footnotes that I'm aware of in these. So I propose that, free to the county, we permit a group of students at Brigham Young University for their winter semester on-campus internship to put our codes and regulations, whether it's the health department or land ordinances or whatever you want, into a forum of software where you can search, you can browse, you can footnote, and you can discuss in public. One advantage to that would be also if you decided to put the agenda of this meeting online every week, where the public then could go search, browse, and ask questions in advance for those who aren't here. Now, this isn't really hard to do. There's software called discourse.org. You can go out there and see it and see how it looks. It's really easy to install. Bluehost has one-click installs of Discourse. So, you can install it really easy. Inserting all the data is a little harder. You have to have a document that you can go and copy and paste and insert and so forth. And then, so what I would like to ask is, one, is this of interest to you? Because we have to file for it. It doesn't mean you'll be accepted. It just means that there will be 1,000 students or so who will look at it and say, this is something that I may be interested in doing. And then, secondly, if they do it, would it be used? Would you approve it going live on a county website?
Yeah, so, I'm a fan of footnoting. I
Yeah.
think that is very advantageous, not just, for me, when I go back, I'd like to see why something came about. And there's reasons, because there are times in which I go back and try to piece together what happens, and then at the last second, a piece of information comes in that says, well, we did it like this, which kind of changes the whole dialogue. So I love footnoting. I think that it's wonderful. There's a lot of work that goes into it, to keep, not just get it going, but to keep it up as well.
It
So
would be.
there's a balance in there on what that would need to be.
But
You
I
also-
would love to look and support looking at it.
Yeah.
And this is a commission, I think we do use that and would use something like that. So,
Yeah,
I felt the same. I think that would be very intriguing
okay.
to look at and see how it works.
Yeah, you would have to have a monitor, because if you allow the public to insert their comments, then you will get spam, and you will get things that are not appropriate, and you may have to have a person to.
That sounds like two ideas, though, to me. The one's the
Yeah.
footnoting, and the second one, I think Salt Lake County's doing it right now,
the
aren't they?
interactive
They're
agenda.
doing the interactive agenda right now.
There's two separate ideas. If you
Yeah.
want to have this to be a closed system, where you put the footnotes in yourself, then you could do that.
Well, the interactive agenda one, we've talked about
have
that
talked
as
about
well,
it a lot.
Have you?
on how
Oh.
that works and the functionality of it and the speed that this meeting moves. We haven't got past some hurdles on how that would actually work.
Okay, well, that's okay. So now all I need to know is this something that interests you? Because if it is, I can file for it, and then we'll go live, and
Let's
then
have some
the students.
discussion.
Yeah, bring us the application. Let's sit down and meet
Yeah.
because I think we'd love to look at that.
Sure.
Need the application?
Well, we, the commission, has to represent the county's interest. And
I
so
see.
that's why I say, for you to file it, you're
Oh.
doing it as a citizen. We'd like to do it potentially as a county, right? So bring
could.
it to the county so we can come and look at it. We'd love to sit down with you and do that.
It's just the email, I mean, just a link online.
Okay.
And David Holland is the
If
professor
you'll
in
just send
charge
it
of
to
it.
us.
I'll send it to you.
Fantastic, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
That'd be great.
Okay. Any other public comments? All right, thank you for being here. We'll move to our closed meetings.
I'm ready to sign.
Actually, got a little caught
Oh,
up.
I don't even have any receipt.
This,
Okay.
Again,